Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Kings of Fantasy Football. I'm your co host, Pablo, and here's my co host.
Leo.
So, we are live again on several platforms. We are live on Twitch, we are live on YouTube, and we're also live on TikTok. So, for anyone that wants to join in, feel free to do so. So, on this first official week 1 episode. There have been some games already Thursday and tonight. We are going to discuss some start slash sit scenarios for this upcoming week 1 fantasy football. So we'll go ahead and get started. So we're going to start off with quarterbacks that we think you should start and or sit. So my first start at the QB position is going to be a little biased, which is CJ Stroud. I have him in both of my leagues. He was my first overall round 1 pick in my Superflex leagues. So he faces the Colts. There's been some trash talking on both sides, but specifically one of the Colts defensive players does not think that Stroud is anyone to be scared of. So I think that's going to backfire on the Colts. I know a lot of experts have the Texans losing, but fantasy wise, I think Stroud is a must start this week. Leonard, who is one of your quarterbacks to start for week 1?
What a shocker. You went out on a limb on that one.
Right? It's a shocker, man.
All right. Well, you know what? I'm gonna be a little home cooking too. I'm gonna go with Tua Tagovailoa as my start for the week as a quarterback. They're playing Jacksonville, an interstate rival. Um, what can we say about Tua? He's got Tyreek back healthy, Waddle, and Devon Chain. The list goes on and on of the talent that he has. So I really like his chances this week to you know to come through for you uh, if you have him.
All right, I definitely agree. High-powered offense against the Jaguars. Jaguars defense does not one of the top defenses. So Tucker Risley is asking, do I start Waddle or Aaron Jones? So Tucker, are you asking for a PPR league, a standard league? Is this like your flex? I'm assuming. Um, if it is your flex and it is PPR, in my opinion, I would say start Waddle. So it is PPR and it's a flex. Leonard, do you agree? Start Waddle or Aaron Jones?
Or who? Aaron Jones? Is that the other guy?
Yeah,
I'll,
as a
I would
flex.
as a flex. I will go with I will go with Waddle as well.
Yeah, Tucker, I think especially points per reception, Waddle's going to get targets. Aaron Jones, I'm not saying that he won't, but every reception counts. So definitely Waddle has a more favorable matchup against the Jaguars this week. Thanks for the question, though. My first sit at QB um, is, I guess if you want to call it somewhat of a shocker, um, is going to be either Steelers quarterback that may start because Russell Wilson's dealing with the injury. So if Fields is starting against the Falcons, I would not start him either. So that is my first sit for the quarterback position. Who's your sit? Yeah.
I'm actually gonna grow a set of testicles on this one. I'm gonna say you should really consider benching Dak Prescott this week. If you I know some of you drafted him as your QB1, but they're playing at Cleveland, and they have a real stingy defense. They have Myles Garrett's back. Um, last season, they had they only had a quarterbacks only had a 55.6 percentage completion rate against them, and a 73.2 quarterback rating. And they also had 34 sacks while when in their first 9 games when Myles Garrett was healthy. Their TD to interception ratio was 10-9 as well. So I just think that he's gonna have a tough time. CD is back, but he was only back for like a week and a half. So he might not be in full strength. So I would definitely consider benching Dak Prescott. Another guy that I was really high on earlier too, that you know with which was a Joe Burrow, but with Chase possibly not playing, Higgins also might not play as well. Those are his top two uh, guys, and if they're out, he might have a little bit of issue, doing some good for your team. So it's just something to consider. Obviously we drafted these guys as your QB1, so it's tough to pick up somebody off waivers or if you didn't draft another quarterback. But just if you do have to start them, just temper those expectations for both guys.
So I really like the sitting Dak, especially because that offensive line is new this season. They lost some offensive linemen in the offseason, didn't replace them with any big names. And we saw last night Lamar's offensive line was new and they struggled all night. Felt like Lamar was under pressure a lot, so might be the same thing with Prescott. Um, and same thing with Burrow. If Burrow doesn't have Chase, it's definitely something to consider. David Maud is asking, does he start Ayuk, Ridley, or Coleman for your wide receiver too? Out of those three names, David, I would go with Ayuk. Purdy had a really good relationship with him last year. They had big plays. He got his contract now, even though he might not be practicing, until barely. I would, I would still start him. I don't know if Sauce is going to be guarding him the entire time. If anything, Debo's the wide receiver one, so I see Debo getting more attention from Sauce. I know the Jets defense is very stingy, but with all the weapons that the Niners have, I don't think that they're going to be able to guard everyone for the entire game. Leo, do you disagree? Would you either start Ayuk, Ridley, or Coleman?
Yeah, this is a tight one because Ayuk, you know, he's probably the best out of the three guys. The best player of the three, and you always want to play your studs, but he is playing the Jets. Um, but luckily the game's at home, so well, I would lean him, but a close second would be probably be like Ridley as another option. But it's tight though. But yeah, Ayuk, I would lean Ayuk by a hair, by a hair though. This is tight.
So, David, looks like the consensus is Ayuk. You say you feel like Coleman is going to go off. I have to start Coleman because Higgins is out as my flex. He's facing Arizona's defense. The only thing with Coleman is first game as a rookie. We don't know what that Bills offense is going to look like. Um, I know Arizona's defense is nothing to be scared of. Um,
The
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 experts are going to say that Ayuk is ranked higher. But if you want to go with your gut with Coleman, I don't think it's a bad choice.
Yeah, the one thing about Coleman that he probably has the best matchup of the three, because Arizona's secondary is crapola. So, you know, it's just a matter of seeing him implemented with how he's going to be implemented in the offense with Buffalo and Josh Allen. He tends to have he can't get much separation, Coleman. So, but like I said, he is playing against an Arizona defense that's bad. So, you could give him a shot, man, for sure. Like he definitely has a better matchup than Ayuk, because I know Ayuk's gonna have that's gonna be a war. Rob Satley is going back to his own stopping grounds. He's always plays them hard since that's where he's from, where he was a defensive coordinator before. So, I'm sure he's gonna come up with something special for Kyle Shanahan and his offense. So definitely, yeah, you can go for it for sure if you're feeling it. Always go with your gut, man. We're always guides, but go with your gut always.
Another question from Jessica is asking about Cowboys defense or Miami's defense this week. So Cowboys face the Browns, Miami faces Jacksonville. If I had to guess, I think the Cowboys is probably ranked higher for this first week just because they're the Cowboys defense.
Yeah.
Um, but I do think Miami has the easier matchup. Um, I know Deshaun Watson hasn't been playing, lights out, but Cleveland is at home, which is why I'm saying that Miami is the better choice because they're at home. So I think they're going to feed off the energy of their home crowd. Who would you say to start?
I would probably start the Cowboys defense. They're playing
Really?
against Cleveland. The thing is with Miami lost a lot of people on defense in free agency. So they lost like probably like five starters at least,
Five
and
starters.
with Wilkins leaving, and the list goes on and on of all the people that left. So I think that Cleveland game and Cowboys game is gonna be like a slugfest, and Deshaun hasn't proven like he's done much over. When's the last time he's actually had a really good game? It's been a while, so I think it's gonna be that's gonna be a close, slugfest game, and I could see Dallas having a better defense for this week.
All right. So looks like Dallas may be the one to start. I just figured again, Miami being at home, but I did not realize that you guys lost that many starters. But if I remember correctly, did Joe's defensive coordinator leave or did the same one?
Fangio left too. He's went out with
Yeah, he left, right? He went
yeah,
to the Eagles.
yeah. So they got rid of him too. So there's a new defensive coordinator too. So
All
we'll see.
right. So, um, those were our quarterbacks. Now let's move on to running backs. So I'm not gonna pick someone that's already played, but I was gonna say Barkley would have been my start. Um, so the start for me is going to be Alvin Kamara against the Panthers. Panthers had an abysmal first year under rookie Bryce Young. He did look better in the preseason offensively, but defensively, I don't see this team as a top 10 defense. So that for that reason, I think Kamara can have a really good game against the Panthers. Who is your running back to start?
The running back which is probably my start of the week is probably gonna be James Cook from Buffalo. Like we kind of mentioned before, they're playing Arizona, and Arizona gave up the most fantasy points to running backs last season, and that's gonna probably continue. I don't think they've done much improvement on their defense. So I see that James Cook having an awesome not only through the ground but also through the air. I think he should flirt with at least 20 fantasy points. I think this week at least.
I agree. So Benjamin Pryor is asking Devon Achan or Ayuk for flex. Man,
I chain.
that is tough. I would say
I'll go with chain.
A-Chain just because his explosiveness. Now you gotta kind of keep in mind, Benjamin, that they have three really good running backs in Miami. The rookie is looking good. So the volume for A-Chain may not be as high as you think, but um, I think against Jacksonville, he can make the most out of his opportunities. And I'm saying that just because Ayuk has a tougher matchup. Leo, would you say A-Chain or would you go with Ayuk for the
Yeah,
flex?
I'll go with the chain as well this week. I like his you know I'm gonna be there in person, so I have a rooting interest with that. But yeah, it's gonna be. I would pick a chain. I think he's gonna have a not only a good game but a good year. Like I said, the tough matchup with the Jets is gonna be another slugfest.
Yeah, I think, like you said, it could be a slugfest over there. I like Cook as your start. Like you said, Cardinals don't have um, a crazy defense. So I think, especially him not really having competition, he should do well against Arizona. Um, um, a running back that I also like to start this week um, is Jahmyr Gibbs. I think with losing Aaron Donald, it's going to be a totally different front line for the Rams. Um, Losing, Aaron Donald, who's a Hall of Famer, um, can be really detrimental to the Rams' defensive line. So I think especially Lions being at home have high expectations this year. Assuming that he is healthy, doesn't re-aggravate his injury. I think Gibbs can have a really good week. Um, this is a new question, and then I'll let you go, Leo. Free giveaways is asking, should he sell on Jaden Reed?
Go ahead.
So, he is having a really good game against the Eagles. Um, I would, I don't, depends on what you can get on return. Um, you know, barely going to be week one. Um, so if you want to see what offers you get, um, I don't mind you trying to see what offers you can get, but um, if you're getting someone that doesn't have as much upside as Reed, because keep in mind that he has a really good fantasy quarterback. So unless you can get someone with that same caliber in return, um, Reed might be a league winner just because he was going in really late rounds this year.
Yeah,
Leo, would you sell Reed already, or would you kind of see
man. If
what you can get
like
for?
for the game that he's having today, I would throw it out there. See, hey, who's interested, and see what offers you get. Like you ultimate setting high and buying low, but he's last year he proved that when he can play, and also this year, and most of us were like, I mean, is he producing because Christian Watson was hurt or whatever? But look, Christian Watson's playing today. He had his, but so did Reed, man. So I don't know. Like I said, he's proving that he might be the go-to. At least this initial game. He's the go-to guy. But yeah, throw it out there. See if someone knocks your socks off. See what kind of deals you get. For sure. Whatever. For sure. Always.
Um, Andy, you commented Pitts. Were you asking like to start him, or did you mean to ask something about
You're welcome,
Pitts?
man. Um, yeah, the Pitts thing. I don't know. I like him this year. Hopefully, there was a little scare with the hamstring injury, but they're saying that he's gonna play. I think he had a full practice already, so I'll throw him in there, start him up. Unless you have someone else, but I'm starting him in my leagues that I have him in. So, but I don't know. I don't know what kind of question you had there, but yeah, going by that, go for it.
Leo, any other running backs that you like before we move on to other positions?
Um, and the running back, I had I guess what we're talking about my sit running back.
Yeah.
Okay, so give me 1 second here. So my sit running back this week is I was gonna go with Brian Robinson from
Commanders?
from the Commanders. He has there's gonna be some people like him this week. Uh, yeah I don't think he might do well, but I want to see what he can do now that Austin Eckler is gonna be implemented in the offense. He's gonna be I think Eckler's gonna get most of the receiving work, and Jaden Daniel runs as well. So I want to like it's tough to see to say what he's really gonna do this first week, but I'll for me, if I had him, I'll probably bench him this week just to see what he can do. See how that offense is gonna click, because there's a lot of running options there with those guys.
So I actually have Robinson, and I was debating that I'm going to sit him, um, like you mentioned. Now, moving on to wide receivers. Um, the start for me is a no-brainer in Tyreek Hill. Um, ranked number one this week by pretty much all the experts. Um, he's facing Jaguars defense. He was dealing with an injury during training camp, but it was nothing to be alarmed about, um, from the news that I saw. So I think if you have Tyreek Hill, you should have a really good week. Leo, who is your wide receiver to start?
My start of this week, I'm gonna go with one of the rookie running back, running one of the rookie receivers. Pardon me. I'm gonna go with Malik Neighbors. I think they're gonna Daniel Jones is gonna be throwing his way early and often. They're playing Minnesota's defense, uh, that I think they could be handled in the secondary, and I like that now that the head coach Brian Dable is gonna be the one calling plays. So I'm really excited to see, what he can do with this offense now that Malik Neighbors is there. The Vikings, they gave up over 50-yard plays. I'm sorry, over 50 plays of 20 plus yards. So I see that continuing in week one with Neighbors.
Okay, I like that. So I saw the rankings for him, and for being a rookie, he's ranked pretty high for week one. So long as Daniel Jones can come through, I think he can have a lot of upside this week. Um, Now my wide receiver to sit this week is going. I don't know how I feel about him this week, even though I have him on my team, but um, I don't know if he's gonna do as well as people think, and that's gonna be Godwin. I'm still gonna start him just because I don't have a choice. But everyone's thinking that Godwin's gonna have a good year because he's going back to the slot this year. I don't know if Baker Mayfield can repeat his fantasy performance of last year. I think Baker Mayfield had a really good year last year. Um, so if I had another receiver, I would sit Godwin, but again, I don't. So that's my wide receiver to sit. Who's yours?
All right, so the receiver I'm gonna sit this week, and I really like him. I wish I would have drafted more of him, but his I don't like his matchup the first week, and that's Deontay Johnson. I think he's gonna have a good year with Bryce Young in Carolina, but they're playing the Saints, which have a really tough defense, a secondary, and I see a lot of Marshawn Lattimore covering Deontay this week, and you might have a hard time, making things happen. So yeah, for me, if you have to start him, you start him. But for me, uh, I'm gonna bench him this week.
Okay. Now, before we move on to tight ends and defenses, Jessica's asking, would you start the running back Stevenson or look for another running back? So referring to Ramondre Stevenson from the Patriots, he is their starter. He doesn't have any competition, so I definitely would not drop him. Um, but if you have roster space on your bench and there's other running backs that are available in the league, maybe look into that. But again, if you're referring to Ramondre Stevenson from the Patriots, I would definitely keep him. He's their starter.
Yeah, no, for sure. I would definitely keep Ramande. He's probably like the most, uh, I guess like their best player that you can kind of say. Yeah, that offense is brutal, but I think that yeah, you have to keep him. Whether you're gonna start him or not, it depends on who else you have on your roster. But I would I would um I would definitely keep him though for now, for sure.
Yeah, if he's one of your better running backs, just start him. He's like Leo said, their best player. So the majority of their offense is going to go through him. Um, so moving on to tight ends. My start for this week, um, and I'm just going based off of this season he had last year. It's going to be Evan Ingram from the Jaguars. Um, Coming off a really good 2023 campaign. Um, they have new weapons in Jacksonville, so if they open up room for Ingram, I think we can just continue off of the good year he had last year. Who is your start for tight end?
No, it's a good pick for tight end. Nice. For my tight end, I'm actually gonna go a little bit deeper. I don't know. I was debating to start him over Goddard today, which I asked you, but
Well,
I really like Noah Fant this week. Um, he has a lot of talent. He's kind of been like in a timeshare with Will Disley and other tight ends. Once he got traded to Seattle, but I do like that he has everyone's gone. Colby Parkinson's gone, Will Disley's gone, and he's basically the only tight end in town with in Seattle. So, and then the thing is, they're also playing Denver this week. So, you can see a revenge game that he's gonna stick it to him for trading him away a few years ago, and I guess and Denver is like the worst, at least last year, against defending tight ends. So I could see him coming through at least anywhere from like 10 to 12 points, and that's pretty much what you need. Most of these tight ends are all the same anyway, so if you're kind of in a bind or whatever, that's someone to think about in deeper leagues. No offense, my guy, this week.
All right, I like that pick. My tight end to sit, even though I have to start him because I don't have a better tight end, is actually going to be Njoku against the Cowboys. Seen some articles kind of saying the same thing, that you should sit him against the Cowboys this week. We know Cowboys defense tends to be pretty stingy. They always, like to pride themselves in having a good defense, so I just don't like that matchup. And Watson can be a hit or miss. So that is my tight end to sit. Who is your tight end to sit?
Well, this one I'm actually gonna agree with you. That's my tenant to sit too. Yeah, I got David Njoku to sit this week. He's playing. Like I said, that game's gonna be a slugfest between them two, and the Cowboys do defend tight ends well. So yeah, I agree with you on this one.
So we have two questions. So Harris is asking to start Ford or Ramondre. Out of those two, I know Ford is going to be the starter just because Nick Chubb is out. But I think Ramondre would be the one I would start out of those two. It's a lot easier matchup against the Bengals compared to Ford against the Cowboys. Who would you start? Yeah.
All right, so between Ford and Stevenson. So let's see. Give me one more here. My rankings here. Yeah, so yeah, Ford is slightly ahead on this one. There is there are playing against Dallas, but it's by a hair. I would probably, depending on who's your other running back is, uh, I you know what, I would probably go the other way and go with Stevenson. I like Stevenson's matchup a little better. They're gonna have to use him. Um, that Dallas's defense is tough. Ford could have a tough game running, so but it's close though. It's a toss up, but I'll lean a hair to Stevenson.
Elise Reina or Elisana, sorry if I butchered your name. So if Chase plays, do I start him? He might be limited. I think if he starts, especially with Higgins being out, I don't know if they would limit him in the game, to be honest. I don't know if they can afford to limit him. So I think that if he is starting this Sunday, it's going to be a normal game. I don't see them having like a snap count or anything on him. So I would start Chase if he's playing Sunday. Do
Yeah,
you
so
agree?
I got Chase on my and I drafted him in one league out of all the leagues I drafted him, and yeah, I'm starting him. Obviously, also it depends on who you have as options. You know, if you have someone that's close, go with that person. But if you give it, you tell us who your other options are, maybe we could help you a little better. But I'll I'm starting Chase. Especially if Higgins is looking like he's already listed as doubtful, so he's probably not going to play. And they need somebody. So the only thing, like you said, he might be limited. So yeah, it's rolling the dice. If you wanna, I'm gonna roll them. I'm gonna roll them.
Colton is asking to start DeAndre Swift or Ford. The Bears running back situation is a little bit crowded over there. I know DeAndre is the starter. I think Ford is going to get more volume between those two. I mean, Bears offense has been looking good from what I've seen in preseason and from what I've seen Hard Knocks. But if you're looking for volume, definitely start Ford.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Ford's gonna get the most of the volume for sure, and then yeah, Swift's he's talented, but he's got to deal with Khalil Herbert and Roschon Johnson, and they're not going away. It's gonna be a split there. We have to see how these games go, but initially, I will go Ford.
Now, Josiah's asking Richardson or Murray.
Oof, man.
That is
My two favorite quarterbacks for the year, man.
very tough. They both have rushing upside. The one I would lean towards is Richardson. He's playing at home, and I'm not saying the Texans defense is terrible, but Bills Mafia is a whole nother level. I know Bills lost some defensive players as well. I think his name's Josh Downs. He's out this week, so the rookie's gonna step into his position. So I know, man, that's tough, but I would lean Richardson.
Yeah, I first want to congratulate you on having a tremendous combo of quarterbacks, because Paulo knows that those have been my two favorite quarterbacks for the year. But I would I will lean. Let's say this. So the safe play is probably Murray, you know, but if you wanna like the high ceiling, it's gotta be Richardson. He's gonna when he actually played a full game, like 3 full games last year. Two of the three, he had over 20 fantasy points. And two of them, he actually threw for over 200 yards. So, he can, a lot of people, obviously he can run, which we all know that, but he can throw some. So, I will go with Richardson. It's but like I said, it's a awesome problem to have. You might after one of them has a buy, their buys, you might want to trade one. But the thing is with Richardson's buy I think is like week 14, so it's tough to trade that. You're kind of stuck there. But yeah,
And
it's really good.
I'm a Texans fan too, bro, but this is fantasy football, so I gotta go with the better option between those two.
Yeah,
So,
sometimes in fantasy it's tough to be a fan. You gotta you
yeah.
gotta you gotta go. The truth is the truth sometimes. So
Now last position before we wrap things up is defense. So my defense to start is going to be the Saints. Um, they have a better matchup going up against the Panthers. Um, they are ranked, if I'm not wrong, in the top 10 for week one. So that is my defense to start. Who's yours? Yeah.
all right, so I actually got a couple defenses this week. The first one is probably everyone's sleeper defense, or not even sleeper, but the majority's gonna get, which is the Cincinnati Bengals. They're gonna be facing the Patriots, and that's gonna be probably a killing there. So that's who I like there for sure. The other defense, because I tend not to draft defenses. I'll wait, and I'd rather have I'd rather pick up like a second or third, fourth string uh, running back to see if how things go to training camp, and then I'll pick someone. So a defense that I actually picked up that I also like this week is the Seattle Seahawks. They have Denver coming in. They had a rookie quarterback, Bo Nix, coming into town. We'll see how he plays on the road, and you know we'll see. But I like Seattle's defense, and then not only Seattle's defense is good this week, they also play New England next week. So you can probably ride them for a couple weeks there. So those are the couple of teams that I like there.
So, Josiah asked Bills or Bengals. So Leo's leaning towards Bengals. Um,
Yeah, I think Bengals have a better chance for sure. Defense.
Now my defense to sit this week is going to be um I would say Steelers. Steelers defense, even though they have TJ, who's had 20 sacks for like 3 years in a row, I think. They're facing a new offense with the Falcons. Kirk Cousins, Drake London's supposed to have a good year. Kyle Pitts, and then Bijan. So I would not start Steelers defense this week. Who is your defense to sit?
Well, so my initial defense, but the thing that they're playing right now is I had the Philadelphia Eagles defense. As you just saw, they got lit up like a Christmas tree by the Packers. But since we'll get someone else. I'm actually Joshua. I'm gonna the other team that you asked about. My other team to sit might be the Bills. You know, Arizona's got a good offense. They with Kyler and Marvin Harrison coming to town with James Conner, and so I think that might be they might be able to score on them. So that'll be some a team that I'll think about benching. They're good. Stuff like that. But I know they did lose some players in the off season. So, but that's someone I will look to the bench if I can.
Right. So, thank you everyone for tuning in on this week one start/sit episode. Thanks everyone for tuning in, asking questions. We are going to aim to do this twice a week now that the season has officially started. So we'll do some waiver wire shows and kind of same thing, start/sit, and just answer questions that may pop in the chat. So you can follow me and Leo on TikTok. My TikTok handle is it is at Valar Morgulis 0102. So if you joined, feel free to follow. Leo, what is your TikTok handle?
It's F at FF Leo G.
So at FF Leo G. So if you want to put that in the comments, Leo, that way they can follow you. And also follow me on X. So on X, I'm at Arch Reaper, which is ARCHREAPR. So I will put that in the TikTok chat as well.
Yeah, on X, you can follow me, and if you have any questions, you can reach out to me there as well. And it's at Smooth1074.
All right. Again, thank you everyone for the likes, tuning in on TikTok, and we will see you guys next week.
Peace.